Well, Razorback fans, it doesn't really mean a whole lot, but at least Arkansas won the game, right? So let's talk about it.
You are Locked On Razorbacks, your daily podcast on the Arkansas Razorbacks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into Locked On Razorbacks podcast. I am your host, John Neighbors. I am also the host of the John Neighbors Show, which you can catch every weekday afternoon from 4 to 6 on Natty State Sports and nattystatesports.com. Today's episode of Locked On Razorbacks is brought to you by LinkedIn. These days, every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. That's why LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the right people for your team faster and for free. So post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. Terms and conditions do apply. Hope everybody had a wonderful weekend, as there's a lot to talk about, especially like with the Super Bowl happening. I don't know if you guys heard about it. It was in all the papers. The Super Bowl was a thing. And we'll have some stuff to talk about in that and kind of give some reaction to it as well. But I wanted to start off with Arkansas basketball actually getting a victory. Now, here's the deal. We know Arkansas, they're sitting at 12-11. They're 3-7 conference play, and they played a Georgia team that's not very good. And they played them at home. And it was dicey, to say the least. Arkansas, in this game, had a sizable lead. I won't call it a huge lead, but a sizable lead. And 12 points, I believe. Yeah, it was the highest it got in the second half. And Georgia was able to storm back and make this a game, actually. And so much so that they had the lead late in the game. And Arkansas was able to make some plays down the stretch. Now, there's a lot of stuff to stand out from this, but I want to preface all that by saying it doesn't really matter. The game doesn't matter. I'm not trying to blow smoke or pump sunshine up anybody's fanny about any of this stuff. It is what it is. Like, it is just simply bleh. But I think wins, no matter in what form they come in, are always going to be appreciated. Especially at this point in time of the year, especially at this season. Again, it's not going to set the world on fire, but it may make some of us feel better. You know, just again, some. Maybe not all, but some. So, in this particular case, you had a really great performance by Tremont Mark, who had 13 points in this game, played 39 minutes, but had 13 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals, and 2 block shots. So Tremont Mark's the dude. Like, I mean, we already need to just move on and not even think about it or discuss it anymore, that he is the best player on this team, and it's not close. He's the guy. And with that, of course, you had some other performances that were poured in, especially off the bench. But Keon Minifield goes 6 of 11 from the field, 15 points, had 4 rebounds, and an assist, and a steal, and a block shot. Did have 5 turnovers. Now, I will say, I have never seen a team have more turnovers by just simply stepping out of bounds when they're trying to drive or, you know, coming around on a play or whatever it is. It was wild. It was almost like the court shrunk in the eyes of the Razorbacks, because I think there was at least 5 that I remember. The times that they just stepped out of bounds, and Keon Minifield was responsible for a few of them. So that's where some of those turnovers came. But then you also throw into the mix of Mekhi Mitchell having another nice game. 14 points for him. He has 5 rebounds, an assist, and also 3 block shots for him. So really good game at him. Now, this is the big one, though. This is the game changer. This is the difference maker. This is the one that really needs to be discussed and talked about. El Ellis. Now, El Ellis is a guy who we know was a player at Louisville that had so much success, especially offensively. We know that he was able to do some big things and look good doing it and you know, just put it all together in the way it was supposed to. Just really have some nice games at Louisville. And when he got to Arkansas, the expectation was him to just pick up right where he left off. Maybe not so much in the scoring aspect, but at least be capable of being a scorer if they needed to count on him. More of a distributor, more of a guy who's got leadership qualities, but just has yet to break through, or at least find consistency, just like the rest of this team in its entirety. But in this one, you had El Ellis play 37.5 minutes. He goes 6 of 11 from the field, 3 of 6 from three-point land, with 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, and only 1 turnover. And what do you know? Arkansas won the game. There's 2 things that go into this, folks, with Arkansas, and I think we're at this point in time of the year, as just 8 games left in the conference slate. We know exactly how this team goes or how it's going to look. As stupid as it may sound, it's true. If Arkansas has a terrible start to a game, and when I mean terrible, I'm talking about getting down by double digits. I'm talking about having a bunch of turnovers to begin. Like under 16 timeout, they're down like 10-2, something like that. It's over. Arkansas is about to get the doors blown off of them. But in the games that they've actually played well in the beginning part of the game and held their own, they've done a fairly good job and have won most of those games. The only one I can remember that they played well in the beginning and did not win was Kentucky. Or at least when I say well, they played solid. They played good enough. But the question becomes now, besides the start, what else can they count on? Well, they've been able to count on a guy like Tremont Mark to go for a 35-point game to win, or whatever it may be. But I believe L. Ellis is the guy where every game he's played well in, Arkansas's won. Now, some of you say, okay, well, what does that mean? Well, let me throw this in. He played well against Duke. They won. Played well against Purdue. They won. And he played well against Georgia in this game. They won. It's almost like they need a point guard, or at least point guard play. It doesn't have to be just him. But getting L. Ellis and Keon Minifield to play really well in a game, despite the 5 turnovers from Keon Minifield, really just makes this team look a completely different animal. I mean, truly. You had also 4 guys who played 30-plus minutes in this game, which seems almost like a rarity. We know Muss doesn't like to rotate a whole lot, and when he gets his teams figured out, which, of course, they haven't figured out their team, so that's why one of the reasons, if not the reason, why they haven't been able to put any sort of consistency together. But L. Ellis played 30-plus minutes. Tremont Mark played 30-plus minutes. Keon Minifield played 30-plus minutes. And the other one? It's Devo Davis. That's right. You remember Devo, right? Player that was gone from the team and was announced he returned. And it's going to be interesting to see what Devo was going to give Arkansas fans and what he's going to give the Razorbacks. Well, we gave him 35 minutes. He took 1 shot. 1. It was a 3-pointer, and he made it. He went 1 of 2 from the free throw line as well. But he had 4 rebounds, 4 total points, 3 assists, 2 steals, and only 1 turnover. And if you're playing the plus and minus game, Devo is at plus 8 on the court. Tied for the highest on the team next to Keon Minifield. Remember, Keon had 5 turnovers, but still, both those guys had plus 8. And the deal with Devo, too, is that it was going to be interesting to see how much he played coming back. And knowing, I guess maybe not knowing the specific circumstances, but knowing that he had stepped away from the team, what was that going to look like? Well, I think it looked good. I think the fact that Devo played that many minutes in his game back, played as well as he did, wasn't having to score a whole lot, was opening up some plays, and people. Now, I will say that at the end of the game where he fouled the 3-point shooter, that was dumb. That was very dumb. Should never happen. But it was good to see him back on the court. And I was really appreciative of Razorback fans giving him the ovation that he deserved when he was about to check back in. People are mad. People are calling him quitter. People are like, I can't believe Muss let him back on the team. Whatever. I don't care. Like, that doesn't matter. Muss did let him back on the team. The team embraced him. So it's good enough for me. But it was nice to win, and that's what it was. It's like this game is not going to change anyone's mind as far as Arkansas going to the NCAA tournament. And I know I keep saying that, but it's true. It's like, well, this team is who it is. We've accepted it. At least I have. But it's at least just nice to get a different feeling on a Saturday. We're talking about how terrible Saturdays have been for Arkansas. It was nice to get a different feel. It was nice to leave Bud Walton Arena on a Saturday with a good feeling. Just leaving the campus of the University of Arkansas on a Saturday with a good feeling. It was just nice to finally have it because, man, it felt like it had been decades since Arkansas was able to have that. So good job, Razorbacks. Have more of these because it's a lot more fun to watch. Folks, when you're hiring for your small business and you want to actually find those quality professionals that are right for your role, you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. LinkedIn just isn't another job board. LinkedIn has a vast network of more than 1 billion professionals, which makes it the best place to hire. It gives you professionals that you can't find anywhere else. And LinkedIn has all that while making the process easy and intuitive. Hiring is easy when you have that many qualified candidates. So easy, in fact, that 86% of small businesses have been able to get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. LinkedIn knows that small businesses are wearing so many hats and might not have the time or the resources to hire, but LinkedIn is constantly finding ways to make the process even easier. They even just launched a feature that helps you write job descriptions, making the process even easier and quicker. 2.5 million small businesses use LinkedIn for hiring. So post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply.
You are Locked On Razorbacks, your daily podcast on the Arkansas Razorbacks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, so moving on into the next segment of the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. We know baseball season's starting up this week. Can you believe that? Like this week, this Friday, we're having Razorback baseball, real Razorback baseball on Friday. And knock on wood, the only real major injury news has been, of course, as we talked about, Peyton Stovall, 4 to 6 weeks. Hopefully that stays that way. But we know the expectations there and how many people are looking forward to the season and feeling good about what it's all going to be like and come into effect. I'm excited about it. Now, I haven't been able to watch all the scrimmages like some maybe of you have or whatnot, but I did go on Saturday. I went to that scrimmage on Saturday. And when I went there, I was duly impressed because we know the team's always going to be good under Dave Van Horn. Like we always know it's going to be solid and it's going to be looking good, feeling good, confident, talented, pro prospects, like all of those things. It's just come to be part of it. It's not taking it for granted or anything or trying to be arrogant about it. It's just the facts. It's been an established program, and truly Razorback baseball and its history, its prime is right now. There's never been a better time in Razorback baseball history than what it's been over the past 5-6 years. There's just no question about it. And when I got to go out there and, see some of the guys that you already have seen and, know what they're doing, you gotta know what you're getting out of them, a lot of them. You think about Kendall Diggs and what you're getting out of him, and Hagen Smith, what you're getting out of him. Some of the guys like a Parker Rowland, a catcher, you know what you're getting out of him. It was nice to see that. But it's also just nice to see some of the big additions and how good they are. This Aloy kid from Hawaii, he's a monster. He's a beast. I mean, this guy, it was cold, too. It was cold out there, for those of you who went. This guy oppo-tacoed a home run that I don't even know if it ever went, like, above the top of Baum Walker. What I mean by it didn't have a lot of height. It was an oppo-taco just launched and hit the side of the practice facility like one of the quickest home runs you'll ever see get out of the ballpark. And when I see plays like that, and I know it's more than that, but when I just see plays like that, I was like, dude. When you hear about people and you hear about how good some of these guys are, it's awesome, but it's like witnessing it in person is just a whole new thing. So seeing how good he looked and some of the pitchers that they have, not just the starters, but some of the ones that are coming in as transfers, some of the ones that are developing, some of the ones that, whatever it may be. Like just seeing the depth that they have there is incredible. And it was just really fun to be out there and to see it and to see great plays and to see excitement and to see, guys that really seem to have it going on. And they have a high expectation for themselves too, and I think that's what I respect a whole lot as well. So it's not just like, oh well, and we're just happy to be here. Like, so they have a high expectation. Like, we're going to win this, and if we don't, we're going to be pissed. And I love that. I love that type of mentality. So the fact that Razorback baseball has it, the fact that Razorback fans have it, I don't know. I'm sure it won't come back to bite any of us, right? But it's just nice to see that overall for Arkansas and for the program and for fans just to have something excited to be about, feeling about right now. Folks, get buckets with your first bet on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers get $150 in bonus bets back with any $5 bet. That's $150 if your bet wins. Bet on all of your favorite NBA players and teams with quick bets, live, same-game parlays, exclusive props, and so much more. Just visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and shoot your shot. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon. FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NBA.
You are Locked On Razorbacks, your daily podcast on the Arkansas Razorbacks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, so final segment here on the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. I don't know if you guys heard the Super Bowl happened, and what a game. What an absolute stellar game from beginning to end. Oh, I shouldn't say from beginning to end. It was actually pretty terrible for first half, part of the second half. But a great ending. Goes to overtime, and Chiefs end up getting the victory. Basically, the last play of overtime, too, because the time was running out. And they were able to get a touchdown and defeat the 49ers and get the job done. Patrick Mahomes has 3 Super Bowls now, and they're just the dynasty. They've won 2 in a row. You got to give them nothing but love and credit and props for what they've been able to accomplish. So, knowing that fact, it is kind of cool also to see what Dre Greenlaw has been able to accomplish with San Francisco, which I know, they didn't win the Super Bowl, but to just see him out there and to see him be a Super Bowl starter in this game was great. But it was really disappointing to see him get injured and get injured the way he did. And so I know who knows? Like, you don't want to play the what if game, but if Dre Greenlaw's in the game, maybe the game goes a different direction. Maybe defensively, San Francisco makes a couple stands. There could have been we could play the woulda, coulda, shoulda game all day long on all different fronts. But to me, it was really cool to see them out there. And I mean him and also Brandon Allen. Now, Brandon Allen didn't play, but Pro Hogs need to be more prevalent, especially in football. Like, it needs to be more prevalent. I don't care if they're backups. I don't care if they're rookies. I don't care what the roles are. Like, I just enjoy seeing that. I enjoy seeing Razorbacks in the NFL performing at a high level because it just seems like it's been so rare in my lifetime. I mean, you've had a few here and there, but to see Dre Greenlaw succeed in the level he is and how he's done it, I think it's truly indicative of what Arkansas is all about. Just a kid who came from Fayetteville and, of course, was raised in the way that he was. We don't need to go through the whole story because I'm sure most of you heard it a billion times because it gets talked about all the time, especially when he was at Arkansas. But to see him, what he went through and how he's able to play, and came in as a safety from Fayetteville, switched to linebacker, came like just a dominant force at the linebacker position, and then was able to move on and get drafted into the NFL, and not only, again, be part of the 49ers organization, but start for the 49ers organization. And 49ers, I've had one of the better defenses in the NFL pretty consistently when Dre Greenlaw's been there. So, again, even if your team is not the Chiefs, or if your team is the 49ers, or, whatever, it doesn't matter. I enjoy rooting for Pro Hogs. I'm not a 49ers fan. I don't mind the Chiefs. But I really wanted to see Dre Greenlaw get a Super Bowl ring, and Brandon Allen. Especially Brandon Allen, where he's gone to a few Super Bowls now and has come up empty-handed. So it would have been really nice to see him get one for just being there and being able to put it on his finger. But again, I just hope that they continue to have a pipeline for Arkansas guys I hope they continue to have guys that get to the next level, stay healthy, and perform at the highest level because, it's for recruiting purposes and everything. It's that. But also wanted to give a shout out because the two players I just mentioned, Fayetteville Purple Dogs. Yeah, like me. About all I have in common with them. So it's cool to see guys from not only your alma mater in college, but also your alma mater in high school be able to succeed like that. So looking forward to the next season, though, and it's sad because football's over. We got to wait a long time. It'll be here before we know it, though. Appreciate everybody listening in and watching in to the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe to the podcast on iTunes or Google Play. You can also get after me on Twitter at John Neighbors Show for any questions, comments, concerns that you may have, and we'll keep it going from there. Same podcast time, same podcast channel tomorrow afternoon. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you then.